Here we go, people. How are we all? How are we doing? Hopefully, you can hear me and we sound all good. Hopefully, you can hear me and we sound all good. Hopefully, you can hear me and we sound all good. Oh, it's echoing. Hopefully, it's all got stuck. You can hear me and we sound all good. What's happening there? Hopefully, it's all got a... I've got an echo. Anybody else hear an echo on this stream? Deary me. Hold on. There you go. Hopefully it's gone. Can you hear me? There you go. Hopefully it's gone. Can you hear me? There you go. Hopefully it's gone. Why does it keep repeating? Can you hear me? There you go. Hopefully it's gone. Oh my word. Why does it keep repeating? Can you hear me? There you go. Hopefully it's gone. Oh my word. Why does it keep repeating? Can you guys hear me all right? Is it repeating? Is it just repeating itself as I'm talking? Why does it keep repeating? Can you guys hear me all right? Is it repeating? Is it just repeating itself as I'm talking? Why does it keep repeating? Can you guys hear me all right? Is it repeating? Is it just repeating itself as I'm talking? Why does it keep repeating? Can you guys hear me all right? Is it repeating? Is it just keep repeating? Can you guys hear me all right? Is it repeating? Is it just... I was going to put me on my other computer. Can you guys hear me all right? It sounds fine. I was going to put me on my other computer. Can you guys hear me all right? It sounds fine. I was going to put me on my other computer. Hold on. Can you hear me all right? It sounds fine. I was going to put me on my other... Oh no. Is that any better? I think we're good now. No. Is that any better? Oh no. I think we're good now. No. Is that any better? Oh no. Hold on. I think we're good now. I'll be back. Is that any better? Oh no. Hold on. I think we're good now. I'll be back. Is that any better? Oh no. Hold on. I think we're good now. I'll be back. Hopefully, this is all good now. And it's not going to keep repeating. Hopefully, this is all good now. Oh no, it's repeating again. It's not going to keep repeating. Hopefully, this is all good now. Oh no, it's repeating again. It's not going to keep repeating. Hopefully, this is all good now. So, it should be all right now. I'm hoping it doesn't keep bloody repeating. How you all doing? You guys doing all right? All good? I'm not. Bleeding zit break out. Got zits here. Got zit on my nose. It's awful. It's awful. But how are you all? Good to see you all, and good to be back. I've got to turn that off, man. That can turn off now. Jesus. Now we've sorted this out. This is all good. So okay. So it's good to see you on. Thank you for joining. This is it's been a while, people, but pub's open. The chat, Chelsea, Talking Chelsea Live's open. Just to make sure my headphones are all right. Technical glitches. Who says it's a nightmare? Who says I'm a bit of a technophobe? Nobody. Nobody really. So did it connect? Has it gone there? No data. So let's see. Am I on? There you go. Perfect. Now, I am. And it's not repeating. So, guys, just so you know, there's a little hum in the background. That's my fan. I have to have my fan on. Otherwise, I'm literally going to melt. If in the UK, there's been a bit of a heat wave. The English, bless us, we love to go and see the sun and all that. But when it gets too hot, we can't handle it. It's far too hot. So today's been 31 where I am. It's been 93 degrees. At the moment where I am, it's telling me that the local temperature is 27 degrees and it's now 25 to 10 in the evening. So it's just unbearable. So I need my fan on. So if you do hear a little hum in the background, that's what it is. Anyway, but thank you very much, Gabrielle. My fans are on. Welcome along, people. How are you all doing? So let's give a big shout out to everybody that's joined in the chat so far. We got Super Chelsea, Addy Dans. We got Daniel Knight. How you doing? Gabrielle, John, Machiavelli. How are you? Dale. Hello, mate. Jason, Paul Reed. What else have we got going on here? Who else have I not mentioned? American Jedi. How are you? Matt P. It's been treating me well, mate. Well, apart from the last few weeks where I've just been ill constantly and then turned into a viral infection and meningitis. Then it turned into bloody laryngitis. Could hardly speak. You can hear my voice is still a bit deep. I've got my new microphone, of course, the SM7V, which is just the amazing microphone. But my voice is still, my voice box. Last weekend, end of last week, not this week just gone, but last week, I had to not talk. Tried to limit how much I was talking for a couple of days. Imagine that for me was just horrendous. So, apart from that, it's not been too bad. It's not been too bad. I've got to be honest with you. I sort of give up on reading rumours about Chelsea, I have to say. Because it was all about, Chelsea not going to have the money. Chelsea not going to get the deal done. Chelsea won't be able to sign any players. All this malarkey, all this nonsense. Then Todd, Boehly and those guys bought the club and now people are moaning because there's no signings. And it's like, well, give people a chance. And the one thing I will say off the bat, people, is Chelsea will not let people go unless they've got replacements lined up. Okay, the Rudiger thing, he forced that. He's gone for his money. Bullshit that he said it wasn't. Of course it's money. It's his last big payday. He took his money and his big payoff. Fair play to him. But Chelsea won't let people go unless they've got replacements lined up. So I expect Chelsea to make a bunch of signings. So no panic. Don't panic, people. I know the likes of Tottenham have been impressive. Kante's been backed. And fair play to him. He's gone out and bought some good players. Pulisic on a free. Forster, he's got hold of him. And he's today signed a midfielder that last season on my live match commentary, I spoke about being impressive. And I said we could do with him. Yves Bissouma from Brighton, but he's gone to Spurs. It's a good signing for them. Real good signing for them. So, people are making their signings, and we'll see what happens. But Chelsea are good at the minute. They are good. They just need to sort out the formation, make sure they've got players for it, and then go from there. Yeah, Dale. So who are Chelsea going to buy now? It seems a little bit mad. Woodshedder, how are you, mate? Cheers. Good to see you. You on your holidays, are you? I think that's what you put on your comment. Dwayne, how are you, mate? Good to see you. Welcome along. Ian Chin, good to see you as well, mate. Alex, well said. All is well. Let's not do any panic buying. But people are moaning because nothing's happened yet from Chelsea. And there's reports coming out saying that the clubs that had players linked with Chelsea have now got the ump because nothing's happened yet. It's a load of old nonsense, honestly. It really is nonsense. So just sit tight. Chelsea will be good. Super Chelsea TV, how are you? Hopefully you're good. Hopefully you're all good. So Been working non-stop, training hard. I'm a trainer at work. Been doing that, and it's been busy. Little boy had his jabs today. My little boy's turned 1. He turned 1 on 31st. And, yeah. And today, our TV blew up. So I had to get the TV replaced, which was great. So, apart from that, it's not been too bad. Thanks, Ian, for the message. I appreciate it. Dwayne, we need to get started. We do need to get started, but like I keep saying, don't worry about it too much. That nothing's at the moment. Super Chelsea TV. Do Chelsea need to replace Aspi, Christensen, Rudy and Alonso? Well, Aspi's not gone anywhere yet. I'm not too sure that if Alonso, Christensen and Rudiger go, that we're going to let another one go as well. I think they'll ask Aspi to play an additional year and then let him go with all the best wishes next season. I can't see them letting 4 of them go, to be honest with you. Alonso wants to go, let him go. He's not been a great defender. He's been great going forward as a wing-back, and what he offers going forward and his ball control is great. Defensively, suspect as always has been, and I think anyone will tell you that. So if he wants to go, let him go. Christensen, new agent, wanted more money on a cheaper deal. Chelsea said no. When Rudiger, as I said already, has gone for his money. Balaj, how are you? Good to be here, mate. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Daniel, do you think Chelsea will get Koundé and Dembele? I think we'll get Koundé. I think Dembele is a really good chance to get Dembele, and the link to Thomas Tuchel is strong, so hopefully so. Melvin, buying isn't the issue, but buying the right ones and not just the below-average players. Exactly, Melvin. Great shout. As I always say to people, if you buy players in a summer transfer window, you want to try and buy players that provide immediate competition for places in the squad. What's the point of signing people to come into the squad, to be recognised from the word go as a squad player, and for people like your Mason Mounts, your Kai Havertz's, your Kovacic's, you want people to come in and give you a push, give you a nudge to work harder to keep your place. So I agree with you completely, Melvin, 100%. Dale, all this Koundé business, no, I know. Alex says we should get rid of Lukaku first. He's not ready to defend the blue colours. He isn't. Looking at the updates from Fabrizio Romano and just the general opinion is that Chelsea want originally the report for a loan deal with Inter Milan. Chelsea have accepted Lukaku wants to go. I think that was pretty much done when he made his interview at Christmas or beginning of the last year, or beginning of this year, end of last year, the Italian Sky, and he spoke as he did, which pissed everybody off. And I think Chelsea have accepted that he's going to go. But there's reports that initially Chelsea wanted a £20 million loan fee, which Inter Milan can't afford. Bearing in mind, they had the money from us for Lukaku, 100 million last summer. Now there's talk that Chelsea want 10 million. They've dropped it by half. They want 10 million per season, and Inter Milan have only offered 5 with 2 million add-ons, and Chelsea rejected it. So the rumour was that, or the report from Fabrizio Romano was that more talks would take place today, but Inter are confident on getting a deal done, which means they probably have to suck up the money. So Lukaku's probably going to go back. I think that's pretty much done and dusted. So a lot of people are asking the question, who is going to replace Romelu Lukaku? Daniel says he hopes Lukaku leaves. I think the problem is Lukaku was bought because he scores goals, but we've got a system that doesn't suit him. And it's like square pegs into round holes. You can ask him to try and adjust, but as he tries to adjust, and it's clear over the course of the season that he's struggling with it, you just got to either go, right, do we change the formation to suit Lukaku and the way he wants to play, or do we stick with what we got with our formation as it is and make it work? So looks as though the formation's won at the end of the day, so we'll see what happens. Steve, Lukaku's holding everything up because Inter are skint and don't want a swap deal. Yeah. Yeah, possibly. But how are you, Steve? Good to see you, mate. Thanks for being here. If I can get every single one of you right now to smash that like button, it'd be amazing for me. I've got 53 people watching, only 17 likes. What are you doing, my subscribers? Smash that like button for me. Emmanuel, how are you? What about Declan Rice? I think Declan Rice would be a great signing for Chelsea. I rate Declan Rice as a defensive-minded midfielder. And I think, let me just say this. I think as far as the Declan Rice-Chelsea link goes, I think if it was still the previous ownership and the board in control, I think that we won't go after Declan Rice because we've been burnt by going after Lukaku and buying somebody back we previously sold for 100 million and getting burnt for it because it didn't work out. And I think the Declan Rice link, I think Chelsea, the previous ownership would probably sit there and hesitate or probably try to go against it. But I think now you've got new ownership, now you've got a new direction, and obviously you've got a will and a desire to kick on. I think that Declan Rice is a real possibility. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get him done because I think Rice will be outstanding for Chelsea. Dwayne's talking about forwards again, and he says that Jesus would be a good choice. Now, I think Jesus would be a good choice as well. There's a strong possibility that the link to Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, bearing in mind he worked with him at Man City when he was assistant manager, is strong, but you never know. But there is a report that the Jesus camp, Gabriel Jesus' representatives, believe that Chelsea's priorities is Raheem Sterling, not Jesus, as one of the marquee signings for Chelsea this summer. Now, Man City have signed the beast that is Erling Haaland, and let's hope that it'll just goes tits up for them like Lukaku did for us, let's be honest. But are they about to let two of their front line go in Sterling and Jesus? We'll see. But I'll take either, to be fair. I like Jesus. I think his work rate's great. I think he's a finisher. I think he's quality. I think Raheem Sterling is a confidence player. But when he's confident, he's quick, he's nimble, he's a pain in the backside, and he scores goals. And let's see what happens there. Gabrielle says, not sure you agree with two slow signings with instability and no drama. Couldn't he do an example of dragging it out? Missed out on Basuma for peanuts. Who else other than random goalies? Yeah, I suppose. I do see why people are saying that, I have to say. I do understand why people are moaning about that the deal's been done and there's been no movement. But I can guarantee you Chelsea are working hard to get this stuff done. So we'll see what happens. Dara, thank you, mate. Appreciate it. And good to see you in. Thank you very much. 33 likes so far. Come on, people, smash up to 50. We've got 59 people watching. Mezzy, how are you? Good to see you in, mate. As for Big Rom, if they don't have the money, might as well loan him to Swindon. But then, to be fair, he was top goal scorer last season. Only played for half the season. He did, yeah. He was playing well. He was on fire, wasn't he? With, so was Werner. And then they both got injured in the same game, the Champions League. And that halted his progress. Super Chelsea TV. We need to keep Gallagher. Please, we can't sell him. Good shout. Conor Gallagher's impressed everybody, but he needs to impress Chelsea. And where does he fit in? Does Conor Gallagher fit in as a number 10? So if he does, then look who he's up against. Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, Ziyech, Pulisic. Is Conor Gallagher going to force any one of those players out? Probably not, to be fair. Is he more box-to-box, do we think? I think my camera's moved. Hopefully it hasn't. It should be all right. So we'll see what happens with Conor Gallagher, but I definitely think he needs to be able to look at, and I think he's definitely worth a place in the squad, 100%. Think about it. Guehi leaves, plays for England. Tomori leaves, wins Serie A with Milan. Abraham leaves, wins the Conference League with Roma. Yeah, but you can never tell what's going to happen. Mark Guehi, it was deemed that of the players that we already had at the club at the time last season, that he wasn't going to force his way in as a starter. He played on loan at Swansea for a season, wanted to play first-team football. Chelsea couldn't give him that, so he wanted to go, so Chelsea had to let him go. Simple as that. Same with Tomori. And then Tammy Abraham. You know, he was at a place with Abraham where he wanted to play first-team football. Obviously, Tuchel gave him a go and didn't really rate him, didn't impress for Thomas Tuchel, so the decision was made for him to go. So, and Abraham, fair play to him. We know he's going to score goals, left, right and centre. But what you have to understand with transfers and the transfer window, it's all down to who's in charge of the football team and how they want to take the team forward in a certain playing style and in a certain formation. Like, for example, the Jose Mourinho era when he looked at Kevin De Bruyne and didn't work for him because he wanted De Bruyne to play like a wider area and he wanted him to track back and defend. That's what he asked of his team at that moment in time. Didn't work with De Bruyne, so we got rid of him, and that was Mourinho's decision. He left. Mata left for the same reason. Salah went. Salah and De Bruyne are the biggest, probably two of the biggest names in the Premier League now. But at the time, it didn't fit the manager, and the club trusted the manager, backed the manager with the signings, and then backed him when he made the decision to sell. It's what happens in football. You can't turn around and say, you know, I know what you're saying about the Guehi lead he played for England, Tomori wins Serie A, but fair play to all of them. All of them are great players. And look at Chelsea now. If only Tomori and Guehi held on a bit longer, accepted a loan deal last season, because with Rudiger going and Christensen going, Tomori and Guehi will be straight into the Chelsea first team squad this season coming. Thiago Silva, Guehi, Tomori. You could have Thiago Silva, Reece James and Guehi. You know, the opportunity was endless, but you could never tell what's going to happen. So that's the way it works in football, unfortunately. Dwayne says, in relation to strikers, it would take Jesus rather than Sterling, which is fair play. And that's probably based on work rate, like Dwayne, yeah? Because I think that's the same. I'm the same as you. Emmanuel, how are you? Can I ask why Chelsea are kind of slow to signing this summer? Unlike the female team, they've got 2 defenders in already. I know they have the female team, fair play to them. But remember, the Chelsea ownership only changed hands a few weeks ago. They need time to get in. They need time to then get the funds available, get them ready, and then make sure they go out and get the deals done. So Chelsea are probably already working on the deals anyway, once they knew a deal would go through. So just trust Chelsea. Don't worry too much. Don't panic. Don't panic. I think we're all good. Dale, Billy Gilmore just signed a new contract, didn't he? A new extension to his contract. I think he'll go out on loan again, though. I think Tuchel is concerned about his size. I don't think he thinks in the position that Billy Gilmore plays, that I think Tuchel wants a much more physical, I mean, not necessarily mobile, but a much more physical person in that position. And it's nothing against Gilmore because, you know, of his own right, when he's on form, he's outstanding, Gilmore. I read the Liverpool game in that League Cup that time. But I think Tuchel's had a look at him and thinks for what he wants in that position, he's not too sure. So I think we'll have to see with Gilmore, see what happens. Because don't forget, you've also got Efan Ampadu coming back at some point. Gilly Gilmore. I know. It's brilliant, isn't it? Smash the like button, people. Let's get to 50. We've got 36 so far. 80 people are watching right now. Welcome along to Chelsea Talk. Chels Daft pub. Grab yourself a beverage, alcoholic or non. Cheers, everybody. If you've never been on one of these streams before, then we talk the Chelsea transfer rumours and then we start talking about anything to do with Chelsea. Old school, Chelsea now, retro, that sort of stuff. Anyway. Alex, why can't we trust Armando Broja to command the attack? There's no news that we don't. So, not that I've seen. I've not seen anything about Broja. I think he's coming back. And I think he's going to be given a go pre-season. And they're going to have a real look at him. And he could lead the line next season. Let's see what happens. Steve, Gallagher, Mount and Cova, do you think will play as a double 8 with Kante sitting as a DM if no Rice? I'd like to see that, to be fair, Steve. 100%. So, you're referring to 4-3-3. Now, I've said this many times. I think the Chelsea squad is built for a 4-3-3 formation with Kante sitting or Jorginho sitting. Obviously, Kante is the preferred. With Kovacic and Mason Mount, or Kovacic and Kai Havertz, or Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek, or, you know, possibilities are endless. Even Conor Gallagher as 2 number 8s, box-to-box midfielders, and then 2 wide, naturally wide players supporting the striker. Look at our squad as it stands. Pulisic is naturally wide player. Ziyech is naturally wide player. Hudson-Odoi is naturally wide player. If we bring in Dembele, then to me that might signal a switch to the 4-3-3. He's naturally a wide player. Fingers crossed. But I think, to me, that's what would suit the players that we've got available much more than what the current formation does, being honest. But who can I complain? How can I complain about a formation that's brought us trophies over the last few seasons? So let's just back the manager, let's back the football club, and let's just see what happens. But Steve, it'd be a good shout, and I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I think 2 years he signed Gilmore, yeah. Alex, really good, just deceived us. We thought he was going to extend his contract. No, he wasn't offered. He wanted some silly money. He wanted mega money, and Chelsea weren't going to give it to him. Simple as that. But Real Madrid did. Real Madrid, that are backed by the Bank of Spain, which is just ridiculous. So, anyway, it made me laugh that Real Madrid complained about PSG and the Mbappe deal. Real Madrid are just, I don't know how they've got the money. They're skint, apparently, but, they're just, the bank just bankrolls their transfers every summer. Anyway, Mark, what are Chelsea's main targets? I think, obviously, replacing Lukaku, replacing Rudiger, and I think the left-hand side of our defence, because it got exposed with Chilwell out injured. Didn't Tuchel want Gilmore to stay and regretfully chose to go out on loan? I think that was probably the point when Kante was having his injuries, but let's see what happens. COVID, Jorginho, Kante, difficult to break in there. Sorry, Gilly. Yeah, exactly. Ian, didn't England lose 4-0 with Gurhey in defence? Yeah, it wasn't all his fault though, Ian, was it? But I do see your point. I see what you're trying to make. What you're trying to say. Samuel's driven on the Lukaku. Will he come? I don't think he will. What can I say of Maatsen and Chilwell? Emmanuel says, I think Chilwell has got a place in the squad this season. I think he's outstanding, and I think he's going to come in and be a place to the first team squad. He'll have a similar role this season as Trevor Chalobah did last season. That's what I think will happen with Chilwell. I said Maatsen, I think he might be given a go in the squad because you've got Chilwell there on the left-hand side. So let's see what happens. Blues, how are you? Our board needs to act faster because Barca could steal Koundé from under our noses and sign Dembele to a new contract. Barcelona is skint, absolutely skint. So we'll see what happens. Gabriel, another Werner, not sure. He seems more than another Werner. Do you think Gilmore will be given a chance? I don't think this season. That's my honest opinion. Ice Cold, how are you, mate? Cheers. I'm feeling not too bad. I feel better than I was, and I can talk again now. Yeah, apparently, yeah, exactly. So Barcelona can't sign because of the FFP. They refinanced their debt, struggled to meet the legal requirements. Exactly. Their players, some of their main players had to take pay cuts, didn't they? Samuel, Dujon Sterling. We'll see what happens. But I think Tuchel will do what he did last summer. So last summer, went to Ireland in pre-season, and he gave the likes of Trevor Chalobah a go in pre-season, was impressed and threw him straight into the Super Cup. So if Tuchel likes someone over pre-season, that everyone gets a chance, the loanees got a chance to come back in and impress him, they'll get a chance in the squad. And I think that's why I think Chilwell will, 100%. Mark, I hope we don't wait until deadline day. Imagine that. The Chelsea fan base have a heart attack. Imagine it. Honestly. Matt Brown, how are you, mate? Do you think Gallagher will do the business for Chelsea? I think it depends on where he plays, but he's got a job on to try at the moment to play as a number 10 with the likes of Mount, Ziyech, Havertz, Pulisic in that position already. And don't forget, in the midfield, the midfield positions, you've already got Jorginho, you've got Kovacic, you've got Kante and Loftus-Cheek. He's got to go some, I think, Gallagher. But he's definitely got a chance, 100%. Super Chelsea, would I take PK? If we play a back three, I will. Yeah, 100%. Why not? If he leaves on a free, I'll take him. 100%. Barca sold off some of their assets for €700 million. Of course they did. Black Pierre, I think Barkley could do a job if he's given a chance. See, I don't think Ross Barkley will. That's my own personal opinion. I like the talent that is Ross Barkley, and I think the guy's got it in abundance. I think he's an absolutely outstanding player with the ball. The problem with Ross Barkley is he does not do enough without it, and that's the issue. That's what harms him. That's what's held him back from starting games on a regular basis, because look at Mason Mount, his work rate. Look at Havertz, his work rate. Look at your Kovacic's work rate. Look at your work rate from Loftus-Cheek when he's come in. And obviously Kante's work rate as well. And I think that Barkley's, it's harsh to say it, bit of a show pony. Doesn't do enough graft for me. And I think the fact that you've had different managers at Chelsea since he's been here, and everyone seems to be of the same opinion. He can't get a regular game. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row, Barkley can't get in. And I think that tells you a lot. So that's just my own personal opinion. I think Barkley will go somewhere, play as an out-and-out number 10 with no defensive requirement or expectation and do really well, Barkley. But in the modern era, the midfield role now, even the number 10 role in the modern era of football, you need to work hard. He doesn't do enough for me. Emmanuel, we need to sign players so they can play together before pre-season starts. Exactly, they will. Don't worry, it's fine. What's Malang Sarr still doing at Chelsea? The guy's failed big time. It was his first season in the Premier League. He had some strong games. He had some dodgy games. He'll be all the better for it next season, having the experience. So give him a chance. Don't be too harsh. Alex, go easy. Samuel really wants Rice. Jorginho, I mean, if you believe The Athletic and believe all sorts of different publications, we're going to lose about 15 players this summer and we'll have no squad left. So honestly, just see what happens. Gabriel, here's a question: who would see this season's levelling out most of a free hit due to all the drama and the loss of the first team players and the flop of Lukaku? I don't think so. I think there's probably more pressure. It depends how much money Chelsea spend, but they talk of 200 million. Let's see what happens. Samuel thinks that Gallagher is best. Okay, fair play. Mezzi, how are you, mate? Again, hope Loftus stays and keeps getting stronger. He's been great, isn't he? In that defensive minded midfield role, or that deeper role. I thought it was brilliant. Matt P, thoughts on Kepa? He couldn't gain the confidence of the managers, and still the same now. Record signing for the club, and he's been ousted by someone that cost a third of what we bought him. Paid for him, I should say. And I think that I think Kepa might go because I don't think he'll want to sit on the bench for another season. We'll see what happens. But I think Chelsea will do well to keep hold of him. They are being linked with a number of European goalkeepers, and somebody a while back from what's it called in America? Their league. But we'll see what happens. Samuel just wants Hudson-Odoi from the Sarri days back. Fair play. Gabriel, great talent, not a team player. See, exactly, that's what I was referring to. Pretty much the message I was saying. Blues, we're drinking the new Stella Filtered, believe it or not. Oh, sorry, unfiltered. Stella Unfiltered, 5%. The normal Stella's 4.6, this is 5, not too bad. Frankie Lampard. Anyone else really worried about lack of signings? Not at the moment. As I keep saying, I think Chelsea have got... they got their targets. They're going to go out and try and get them, and I think they will get them. So I wouldn't panic at the moment. I wouldn't panic. But there are some players that have gone elsewhere, which I would have had at Chelsea. Basuma at Brighton, who's just gone to Tottenham, I think he's one of them. 100%. Woodshedder, have a great evening, guys. I'm actually off to an actual pub. I'll watch the rest of the stream tomorrow morning. Thank you, mate. Woodshedder, enjoy. Cheers to you, mate. Have one on me. Samuel, I think once Lukaku goes, the signings will come in. There's money there already before Lukaku. But Lukaku's only going to be a loan deal. We won't get the money for Lukaku. We'll get his... Well, apparently we've got to pay 2/3 of his wages as well. So the money's already there. Let's see what happens. Mark, who is the goalkeeper that Chelsea have signed? Oh, they've signed someone, haven't they? They signed the goalkeeper. I can't think now. I know the one you mean. Honestly, it's trying to keep up to date with all this stuff, honestly. Thoughts on the new Chelsea kit? I think the new home kit's decent. It looks quite smart. If that's the... Is it been released? Is it actually the proper Chelsea kit been released? I think it has. Hold on. I'm sure it was. 1 second. But the home kit is smart. If they have done that at the moment, then let me just see. Have I missed it of late? I've been so busy. I've had so much going on. I see they're doing this end of season report on the official website, which is really strange. Like on each player. The good news is that 3 have decided to resume their activities with sponsoring the football club. Some people have gone on social media saying get rid of them. They bailed on us when it got tough. But yeah, we haven't actually got the official kit yet, have we? I don't think we've had. We have had that. We've seen a mock-up of it, and I think the mock-up looks smart. Anyway, Bleck, do you think Armando Broja should start? I think he's got a good shout next season, 100%. 100% he's got a great shout. Yeah, Samuel, Inter are stubborn. They are. One more like for 50. Come on, people. Ice cold. Cheers, mate. Have a good one. Exactly what Cheddar. All good to say we'll replace Lukaku, but with who? The number 9 crisis, world football, is astonishing. Well, Lewandowski is out there. He wants to go to Barcelona on a free. Fair play. Haaland was there. Man City have gone and got him. One player I would have tried to get hold of would have been Mane. I know he wanted to go Bayern Munich, but I would have gone into... It is Alex, a Hogarden glass, yeah. I would have gone after Sadio Mane. But there's a report that Bayern Munich have got him for 27.5 million with a guaranteed up to 32 with add-ons and additional fees based on appearances and whether they're successful or not, that will take it up to around 35 million. Now, 35 million for Mane. Bearing in mind that he's been outstanding for Liverpool, I still think he's an outstanding player, and I would have taken him, given a chance. Training kit's been officially released. Yeah, I thought it was. I didn't remember seeing the official Chelsea kit for next season. That's the bugbear, though, isn't it? These Nike, for example, or Nike, or whatever you want to call them, every single year, let's just get rid of those free kits we introduced last year and then another free, and it costs a fortune. I've got to say this. So that home shirt there, which you can see over my shoulder, I went to the club shop to go and grab hold of that, and the away shirt last year. Now, when you go to Chelsea's Megastore, now on the Megastore online, but the Megastore at the ground, which I went to, you've got a match day shirt. And the match day shirt is what the players wear. And that's well over 100 quid, £100, that shirt. And that's with no badges, it's with no numbers, no names, nothing. The replica shirt, which is what that one is, on the wall, that's like 70 quid. And that's a lot of money. I had to buy 2 of them. And then obviously them, like the third, I'm not paying for the bloody third kit. It's ridiculous, the amount of money. It's just shocking. It really is. So, yeah. Gabrielle, I think Spurs are better position than us to finish top 4. Don't panic, Gabrielle. Tottenham are just Spursy, aren't they? They always cock it up. Let's be honest. We got no vision and too many square pegs into round holes. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's just see. Keep the faith, Gabrielle. Mark, am I doing live commentary next season? I am. Live match commentary on the games that are live on live TV in the UK, not ones that are not being shown. I'm not gonna advertise any illegal streams or dodgy live streams and do a commentary on that. So I will be, Mark. Blue Dragon, how are you? None of the players we linked with last couple of days will sign. Mike Rice really getting worried about losing out on good players. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of Chelsea fans that are saying that as well. There's a lot of Chelsea fans of the same opinion, and they just think that because the deal was done with Todd Boehly, that we're going to go out straight away the day after and go bang, bang, and spend loads of money. They've got to get that money into the club. They've then got to get it all sorted out. They've then got to get the right targets done and negotiations. And don't forget, because there's a new ownership with a lot of money that have paid a record fee for a club, that the clubs that we want to sign to negotiate deals with now want more money than what they're asking for before. So I know they're talking about Kunde being less than what it was last summer, but we'll see what happens. Would Mane really join a rival? I think money talks at the end of the day. Look at Rudiger. Swampy, how are you, mate? Cheers. Good to see you. Frankie Lampard. We would have ruined Mane as a number 9. I mean, actual number 9. Playing a wing-back system with no one to cross to. Gabriel, they wouldn't sell him to Chelsea. Fair play. Super Chelsea said they'd have Mane over Jesus and Sterling. Yeah, Alex says if Chelsea gone for Mane, the price went up to 150 million. I'm not sure about that, but it would have gone up. Ice cold. Daft, what's your thoughts on our opening fixtures? Which matches are you looking forward to? I actually think that we've been handed a decent start on those fixtures. 100%. Let's just bring those fixtures up while I'm sitting here. Because I saw that the fixtures come out and I thought straight away, that's a real good start for us. Here we go. Premier League fixtures announced. And I thought it looks decent. And I thought the games as well, over the course of, as it stands at the moment when they first come out, I thought the games with the top 6 were all spaced out as well. There was like, from what I can remember from skimming through the fixtures, there was no like, Man United followed by Man City or Man City followed by Liverpool, like that sort of thing. So let's have a look. So Everton away at home, first game. Everton away, Tottenham at home, Leeds, Leicester, Southampton, West Ham, Fulham, Liverpool. It's a good run, good opening run of fixtures. Good early game as well against Spurs at our place to test out their new signings. They're making some good signings under Antonio Conte, but look what happened to them against us last season. Got all Spursy, beat them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So first 8 fixtures up to Liverpool. Then Palace, Wolves, Villa, Brentford, United, Brighton, Arsenal, Newcastle. All spaced out. There's no games on top of each other, like I'm saying, like the big 6. Then after that, Bournemouth, Forest, Man City, Palace, Liverpool, Fulham, West Ham, Southampton, Tottenham, Leeds, Leicester, Everton, Villa, Wolves, Brighton, Man U, Brentford, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Forest, City, Newcastle. So that's as it stands, but obviously fixtures will change, but there's no like horrible run of games where you got Man City one week, then you got the Liverpool, then you got United, then you got the Arsenal, that sort of stuff. So it looks all right to me. It looks all right, the fixture list, I have to say. Obviously, always look forward to the opening day, and opening day we go to Everton, Frank Lampard, and hopefully beat them. And then straight after that, Tottenham with Conte. So the opening 2 games are massive. Good to put win those 2. Put a little marker down for the season. That'll be good. And then we've got a good run of fixtures after that. Leeds, Leicester, Southampton, West Ham, Fulham. Decent. Samuel, do you think Werner can turn it around next season? Timo Werner might be played as a striker next season. People are writing Werner off, but he scores goals. When he's confident, he puts the ball in the back of the net. And maybe there's an argument he's not really played in that position under Tuchel. So we have to wait and see. But I'll give him a chance. Of course I would. And Broha. So, Swampy, transfer windows so far been underwhelming. Chelsea board notorious for quiet talk, although there's still hope. Exactly. Chelsea have signed 18-year-old goalkeeper Eddie Beach from Southampton. They did say they're going to back the academy. I want to avoid Sterling at all costs, says Swampy. And is that because of the work rate? And because he's a confidence player? England game the other day, he was awful, wasn't he? Frankie Lampard, the Tammy disrespect is Tuchel's biggest mistake so far. Changed my mind. Okay, I'm not going to change your mind. I'm going to tell you what my opinion is, Frankie Lampard, in the chat. I said it earlier. Tuchel come in when Lampard was sacked and Tammy Abraham was there, and he gave Abraham 3 or 4 different opportunities to play in Thomas Tuchel's system. Okay, and this is what's important. I said it earlier. When you're at the football club, it's the management that's in charge, and the manager and the direction that he sees the team going and the role that he wants his players to play as part of the overall formation, right? Tammy Abraham didn't impress Thomas Tuchel and found himself benched because he couldn't fit in to the way Tuchel wants to play. We've seen it with Lukaku this season. He wants someone to play as a link man, as a target man up front and lead the line, i.e. Drogba, Costa. Lukaku's not that player. He wants to be more mobile. Abraham's not that player. He wants to be more mobile. And he struggled. So the decision was made to sell him because he wasn't going to fit in Tuchel's way. And fair play, Mourinho's playing to his strengths with Roma and he's scoring goals for fun. Fair play to him. What happens is it's whoever's deemed to be or whoever's been put in control of the football team at the time is backed by the football club to make decisions for the good of the football team and the football club. And the club then backs the manager by saying, right, who do you want to go and sign? Well, this is what you hoped they did. Under Abramovich, didn't look likely that actually happened. But now Thomas Tuchel's now got a complete say on it, by all accounts, which is great. But Tuchel can give recommendations. And he did, and Abraham was sold. So it's not that Tammy was disrespected. It's the fact that Tammy Abraham didn't fit in to the way Thomas Tuchel wants his strikers to play. And this season, Chelsea went out and spent 100 million on Lukaku because he scores goals, but he had to play a certain way under Thomas Tuchel, and it didn't work because it doesn't suit him. and it's the same problem. So that's why Chelsea are probably going to agree, let Lukaku go. Because who out there can lead the line like that? I mean, what I will say, and I've said it before on my live streams when we do this Chelsea talk or talking about Chelsea retro and all that sort of stuff, the person that could do it that really impressed me was Olivier Giroud. He was old school centre forward that can bully defenders. He can hold the ball up. He's great in the air. He's physical. He can link the play. He can be a target man. He can be someone that just leads the line and plays other people in. And that's what the modern day centre forward is for Thomas Tuchel and his vision. Lukaku can't win the balls in the air when he goes up against the defender. Free headers are great. If you put 10 balls up to Lukaku up against a physical defender, he'll win 1 or 2 of them. The bloke's size is massive. He's got such a big build, a dynamic build. He should do a lot more with his physique as to hold the ball up. But the problem that you've got, people, and I keep saying this, and my subscribers, I apologise if you've seen me say this before. The problem that you've got, and this is my opinion, I'm my own personal opinion, okay? Let's look at opposite ends of the scale, right? Chelsea strikers in the past and now. Timo Werner here, Didier Drogba, Diego Costa over here, okay? Now, the Werner side, mobile, athletic, want to run in behind defenders, want to be in between defenders, getting in behind and causing problems. And that's the Werner style, mobile, okay? We all know what the Drogba and Costa did, how they played, right? So there's your spectrum. Your Werner, your Giroud, your Drogba, your Costa, okay? Bring Tammy Abraham to the table. Where does he go? Where would you look at Tammy Abraham and think, where do you go? Do you go towards Werner or do you go towards the Drogba Costa? You'd want him to go slightly towards the Drogba Costa way because of his size, to hold the ball up, be a bit more physical. But he tended to move towards the Werner side of things and wanted to be more mobile, getting behind, not be someone that goes one-on-one physical with a defender for headers or to hold the ball up. He wanted to be the other way. He wants to spin off and get in behind. That was his natural game. The fact that he's tall is nothing against him, but he wants to be mobile, okay? That's what happened with Abraham. Lukaku, bring him to the table. Both spectrums, Werner, Drogba, Costa. Where would you put Lukaku when you look at him? You look at him as a player and think, do you know what? He could go to that side. He could go towards the Drogba, Costa side, but he wants to be more like Werner as well. So that's the situation for me, and that's why those two have struggled and those two are going to be sold or they're going to leave the club. Well, Tammy left already, fair play to him, and he's done great at Roma, and good luck to him. And if we change our style of play, if there's a buyback option, go out there and get him and bring him back. Simple as that. But at the time, he didn't fit, and that's it. Simple as that for me. Let's believe in Pulisic, says Alex. He's a very good player. He is a good player. He's a confidence player, and he needs a good run of games. He didn't get it last year. Injuries went against him as well, but hopefully he'll be much more involved this season. He was the highest goal scorer through that year, Tammy. Werner wasn't giving him any chances. Yeah, he was the highest scorer under Frank Lampard. When Tuchel come in, changed the way he wanted to play, didn't work. But again, look at Frank Lampard's time in the second season as Chelsea manager and look how we struggled. So, you know, Blue, we need to strengthen our defence as soon as possible. Exactly, we do. Steve, took the words all out of your mouth. Frankie Lampard says, I disagree. I get what you're saying, but the fact is he refused to bring him on for even 10 minutes when he had a goal when he was our top goal scorer, and that's what I mean by disrespect. That's fair enough. Fair enough. If Giroud is a Tuchel type of player, then why did Thomas Tuchel play Werner as a number 9 over Tammy as he was missing from 2 yards? That's my point. Now, I understand that. But he didn't feel as though Tammy Abraham could do a job wide, cutting in from the left-hand side or the right-hand side, like Timo Werner could. And he wasn't for him. Frankie, I said it earlier, Jose Mourinho, at the time, decided that Kevin De Bruyne and Mohamed Salah and Juan Mata weren't for him. So they were sold. And look what happened to all three of those. Jim, how are you? Braha reminds you of Costa. I think Braha could be physical, yeah, 100%. See, people disagree with me, but I think someone that would be, I mean, not of the same level, but someone that plays similar to Drogba and Costa is Mitrovic at Fulham. He can body defenders with his physique. He's not the same quality, of course, but he's that sort of style of player. And we definitely need somebody that can play that role. But what I will say, I mean, it's not going to be Raheem Sterling. So unless we decide to stick with Kai Havertz as the number 9, which I don't think is necessarily the right way, but we'll see what happens. But I think there might be a surprise. Someone, who do I think will be? Do you think we need a backup left wing back? 100%. 100%. If Alonso's going, we need to bring someone in to be a backup. I mean, Maatsen, bring him back in and get him play second fiddle to Chilwell and give him some experience this season. Steve says Richarlison. Richarlison's a good player. He's someone that Richarlison's someone that is he physical in the right way? I'm not sure. And of course he's got the South American temperament. Loses his head and just goes flying in and that sort of stuff. So ice cold. Benzema would be the prototypical type of striker you seem to be describing. Benzema, what a player he is, by the way. Outstanding. I laughed my head off when Liverpool lost the Champions League final. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Is Batshuayi still a Chelsea player? I don't think he is. I think we sold him, didn't we? Did we sell him? I can tell you. Is he still listed on our books? Let's have a look here. No, he isn't. He was sold. I'm sure he's sold. He was sold. Mishi the Batman. Here's another one. Let's have a look at on loan. Let's just have a look here. Hold on a second. I've got to scroll down. When the players we got on loan last year, my word. Midfielders. Well, you got Bakayoko. He's going to go, isn't he? You got Tino Andron as well, don't forget. I mean, Batshuayi is still there. Is he still one of our players? He is. He's at Besiktas, isn't he, on loan? Is it a couple of year deal I think he's on? And Mitrovic scored 45 goals in the Championship. Yeah, he did, yeah. We better not sign Sterling. Him and Timo will be trying to break each other's miss records. Have faith, Frankie, for God's sake. You sound too negative. Come on, have faith. Kwame, how are you? The meme of who will find out is really about the Ronaldo versus Messi by giving them the Chelsea number 9 set is so true. He isn't coming back next year, that's why I know. I don't think he is. Hold on. Refreshment. It's hot here. It is hot. It's still 26 degrees over here. Up 25 past 10 in the evening. It's going to be horrible trying to sleep, honestly. Get too hot. So, yeah, so reports is that Cucurella. Now, Fabrizio Romano's talking about the fact that Man City want Cucurella, because obviously they've lost Mendy, because Mendy's gone to court for his misdemeanours. Probably going to go down and probably go back, or go to prison, I should say. So they want someone to come in as a backup on the left-hand side. And I think Man City want Cucurella. And there was reports that they're going to make an offer today to Brighton. But Chelsea are being linked with Cucurella. But Cucurella plays first-team football for Brighton week in, week out. Is he better than Ben Chilwell? If he comes into Chelsea, will he play in place of Chilwell? He won't. Chilwell will be the number 1. So we'll see what happens. And that's what you got to think about. You know, will people want to come into Chelsea and fight for a place where they know they've got guaranteed first-team football week in, week out next season? So this is what you have to sort of look at. So we'll see what happens. But then again, Champions League football is a big selling point to these players that haven't got it or haven't played in the Champions League and won't with Brighton for a while. So we'll see what happens. Louis, how are you? We're going back to pre-Roman. What do you mean? In what way? Alex, let's give Batman a chance if he's still our player. I'm not so sure. Exactly, Frankie, he won't start for City. So, I mean, looking at the latest updates that we've got here. So we've been linked with Richarlison, Romagnoli. The AC Milan player is going to be on a free. Cucurella, again, they're talking about a £45 million fee. We've been linked with Josko Vardio from RB Leipzig. Ibrahim Sangari, the PSV midfielder. Kimpembe, the PSG defender. Skriniar from Inter Milan. Slonina. Rayan Al-Nouri, that's the Wolves left back we're being linked with, which I saw the other day. And I'm not too sure about that one, I have to say. Denzel Dumfries, Man United and Chelsea, the Dutch fullback, wingback. Chelsea want him apparently, but Inter Milan are not looking to sell him. So, I mean, I'll take Dale. I'll take De Ligt as well. I'll take Matthias De Ligt from Inter, 100%. Sorry, Juve, 100%. I think we'll take him. I'll take him if given the opportunity. I think he's a good player. Really good player. Yeah, we do need to spend the £200 million properly. Of course we do. 100%. What else are we being linked with? Koundé with Barcelona trying to hijack the deal. Dembele, Jesus, Raheem Sterling. So there's all sorts of numbers there. Bastoni's a great player. All sorts of players that are being linked with Chelsea. There's also players that have been linked with move out of Chelsea. And there's reports that if Chelsea sells these players that have been linked with moves, then you could end up having an extra £170 million. In addition to the 200 million that Todd Boehly has said that Tuchel's got to spend. So you end up having 370 million pound to spend. And don't forget the transfer window this time around closing in September. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Jesus probably off to the Arsenal, possibly. We'll see. Kefa, how are you? Says the market for strikers has been very poor. It has. There's not that many old school centre forwards around, is there? Out and out number 9s. That's because the game's changing. But at the moment, we still need players that can play a certain role. And we haven't got a striker that can. Tuchel's pushing for Lewandowski. Do you reckon he got a shot? I mean, I'd take him. I'd take Lewandowski. Have we got a shot? Oh, he's got his heart set on Barcelona. Go to Barcelona, you're pretty much guaranteed a fight for the title with Real Madrid. Come to Chelsea, it's going to be a harder league, the Premier League. We always hear players that join the Premier League from other leagues around the world, and they always talk about the fact that this is the one league, this is the best league in the world, blah, blah, blah. So if you're someone like Lewandowski, why not want to come and test yourself at this level? In the hardest league there is, apparently, in the best league in the world, in our opinion, the Premier League. And we say that because anyone can beat anybody on any day. And the quality of the standard of the teams is great. Look at what it was in the first Premier League to what the teams are now. You've got teams that have just been promoted in the past that have spent 100 million. So, why would you not want to test yourself in the Premier League if you're Lewandowski? I just don't understand that. Thomas, 200 million was including sales, they said. No, they've given him money. They just spent 4.2 billion. They're going to give him money for the window, and then whatever else we sell will be given to us. Yeah, I'd take Harry Kane, 100%. He's the last of the old school centre forwards, Harry Kane, that I can see that could do a job for Chelsea. But Tottenham would never sell him to us, ever. Kane would have to force him a move, and then you imagine the reaction from the fans. Look at years and years ago when Steven Gerrard was linked to Chelsea to come and join Jose Mourinho. There was reports that a deal was already done, personal terms were already done. The report got out, the Liverpool fans were fuming, Liverpool fans kicked off. You had Liverpool fans outside Anfield with a Steven Gerrard shirt, burning it. There was death threats sent to his family, to him, and all of a sudden he changed his mind and said he wanted to stay at Liverpool. But he was going to come to Chelsea. But the reaction from the fans and from like his legacy and all this sort of stuff at Liverpool would be spoilt. He decided not to go and do it. And I think if Harry Kane was given the opportunity to come to Chelsea, I think he probably would fancy it. But I mean, at the moment, not, because Kante and what he's doing with that squad. So, but yeah, I think the reaction from the Tottenham fans, and I think bearing in mind he's come from their academy, he's one of their own. I think he wouldn't want to spoil that. But I'd take Harry Kane all day long. I think he's an outstanding player. What happened to Ziyech from Real Sociedad? I don't know. You tell me. What happened to him? Let's have a look at some of this. So Arsenal are cautiously optimistic about Jesus. We shall see. I mean, the Pogba thing's just a joke. I've seen Newcastle want Nick Pope, which would be a good signing for them. I mean, Arsenal gone out and trying to sign players. That, they're trying to sign Yuri Tielemans from Leicester, who's a great player. But we shall see. But let's just see what happens as far as Chelsea transfers go. But as I keep saying, Chelsea won't let players go unless they've got someone lined up to come in. You just need the right players that will fit. And it takes time to get these deals done and over the line. There's nothing much has happened at the moment from Chelsea, but don't forget we've been waiting for the deals to get done, the actual deal to take over the club to be done, money to be made available, and then negotiations will start. Because we couldn't do that until the sanction was lifted. Who was the last player from Spurs to sign for Chelsea? I can't think of one. It says Ice Cold. That's a great question, Ice Cold. He started it off, and yeah. The last player who left Spurs to sign for Chelsea. Was it Graham Roberts? Back in the 90s. Mickey Hazard. Graham Roberts, it might be. Not Mickey Hazard. Mickey Hazard. Might be. Wow. In the 90s, Samuel. We're talking old school Chelsea now. Retro Chelsea. Graham Roberts. Not sure if he left Spurs for Chelsea though. But great shout. The last player from Spurs to sign from Chelsea. Wow. Yeah, so the transfer window's open until September the 1st. So there's plenty of time for deals to get done. We've still got 2.5 months. So let's just not panic about lack of signings. I think we're all good. So come and say hello, people, in the chat. Get involved with your questions. Could be to do with the transfer window now. It could be Chelsea back in the day retro. It could be anything you want. Because when you're in the pub and you're talking Chelsea, conversation veers off in different directions. And that's all good. That's what we're looking for. So we definitely need to replace Rudiger, 100%. Yeah, Roman had a rule. He wouldn't do business with Spurs. But there was the time where we wanted Modric, wasn't it? Wanted Modric and was going to go for it and all. And he and it was all done. It was all going to be sort of done. But then Levy wouldn't have it. Dale. Gallas was at Chelsea first. Then he went to the Arsenal, didn't he? Then Tottenham, I think. Modric and Lampard in midfield. Yeah, maybe. Modric just got himself a new contract at Real Madrid as well, which is fair play to him. His pass against us in the Bernabeu, when we literally were just all over him, we were battering Real Madrid. And he picked the ball up in that little bit of space, the outside of his right foot, and just pinged it outside of his right foot, right on to the striker's foot, who put it in the back of the net. And what a pass that was from Modric. What a player he is. Outstanding player. But the thing is, in La Liga, he's got the time to do that. He wouldn't have that time in the Premier League, and I think he'll struggle. So, fair play to him, though, Modric. I'd have had him at Chelsea, 100%. But Not going to happen. Because of Levy. Bless him. He hates Chelsea and we hate Levy. Carlton Cole wanted to join Spurs and Roman wouldn't let it. Oh, Jesus, imagine that. Carlton Cole going to Tottenham. Deary me. Carlton Cole, there's a name. There's a name. Where do I think Gareth Bale's going? I don't know, Samuel. I couldn't care less. To be honest with you. I think Gareth Bale is still a great player. I think he won a lot of money. A lot of money. He was on a ridiculous salary at Real Madrid. And I think he won a lot of money. I think he's a bit... But again, does he work hard enough, Gareth Bale, without the ball? I'm not so sure. Jimmy Greaves went the other way. On what was the reaction then? Yeah, that was a years back, though, wasn't it? Different time. But yeah. K-Fat says, I think we should be patient and make accurate signings. Exactly. Let's not panic. I think Mitrovic is an option for sure, says Samuel. He is. Alexander Mitrovic. But look at what happened. So 2 seasons or 3 seasons ago, Fulham under Scott Parker came up to the Premier League. And Mitrovic was outstanding in the Championship that season. Come to the Premier League and didn't get a game hardly. Stuck on the bench. Which I couldn't understand. When Loftus-Cheek was there, on loan, Mitrovic wasn't getting a game, he was on the bench. And then, as soon as they go down, and then Parker leaves Fulham to go to Bournemouth, Silva takes over the job, Mitrovic scores 45 goals in the Championship. Let's see how he gets on the Premier League this season. But he'll score goals, and it'll be a real pain in the backside for people because of the way he plays. He plays old school number 9 style. And like I say, there's not many in the game, in the English game that's left at the moment in the top leagues. Harry Kane's one, Mitrovic is another. After that, you're sort of looking around thinking, well, who else is? And that's the problem. But unfortunately, that's the way Tuchel wants his strikers to play. And that's been the problem. So come and say hello, people. Where are you watching from? Let me know. Whereabouts in the world are you? Don't say it in my bedroom. I'm asking for locations, not street address. I just want your town. Interesting to see where you guys are watching from. So thank you for joining the stream. It's been the first one for a while. Been a couple of weeks. I've not done any videos because, as I say, I was ill. Then had bloody viral infection, then had laryngitis and I couldn't speak. Samuel, I would take Sangari from PSV. Yeah, 100%. Good player. So Dale's in Bournemouth. Lezek, how are you? On holiday in Poland. Fair play. Is it hot over there like it is over here? Samuel's from Canada. Good. So Poland, Bournemouth, Canada. Now I'm in Surrey, the leafy part of London, just outside of London. Ice cold's in LA, of course you are. Jem's in Plymouth, originally Southwest 10. Fair play. So born and bred then, Jem, 100%. Fair play to you. Yeah, I was born in Chelsea back in the day. 1974, I was born in Chelsea in the Princess Beatrice Hospital, which is no longer there. Born and raised. Kiva's over in Kenya. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Much appreciated, everybody. Really appreciate everyone coming in. Smash that like button if you haven't done so already. We're just talking Chelsea, talking transfers, talking Chelsea retro. So here's a question then, people. If we've been doing a bit about the transfers and the players we want to see coming in. Here's a question for you then. What was your favourite game last season? Chelsea game last season. Here we go. So this is the Chels Daft pub happening. Now, when you get in a pub, whether you're watching around the ground, when you're going to the game, whether you're watching it with your mates, wherever you live, wherever you are, if you go to a pub, if you watch around people's houses, what you tend to do is have a couple of drinks, or if you don't drink, just have a couple of non-alcoholic drinks, but you get social and you get chatting away about Chelsea. And what normally happens is the conversation goes off everywhere into different things about Chelsea, your favourite players, your favourite games, your favourite goals, players that didn't quite make it, players that were brilliant for Chelsea, bargain players, all sorts of stuff. And this is what the Chels Daft pub is open for. So that's the question to you guys. I'm going to put it in the chat. We're going to start off with the pub. Favourite game from last season and why. So let me know. I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat. So people, reply to me. Your favourite game from... It could be for any reason. Don't be sarcastic. Actually, let me know what your favourite game was and we can discuss it. So I'm looking for what your favourite game was and the reason why. So let me know. I'm trying to think what my favourite game was from last season. What was our favourite? What was my favourite game from last season? Yeah, Real Madrid game. It's funny though, Jem, isn't it? I have to say, right, so if you watch on my channel, if you watch the live streams, if you watch the videos back, they're all on my channel. So like the first leg, I was gutted with the way we played, the way we approached it. But I had a feeling, so in the build-up to the kickoff for the Real Madrid game in the Bernabeu, I was saying, I've just got a feeling. I felt all day, I just knew that we were going to go to Real Madrid and batter them. I just knew we were going to take the game to them. I knew we could score goals. And the way it went was just outstanding from us. It's just such a great performance from us. Wesley, how are you? Have a great weekend. Austin, Texas, USA, but lived in Surrey. Well, fair play to you. Fair play between Common. I know exactly where that was. Between Common, West Byfleet and East Horsley, between 77 and 81. Wow, a while ago. Must have been a young child then. Ibrahim agrees with them and says Real Madrid. Leslek says Chelsea-Liverpool home game. Beautiful comeback. Also the away game. Yeah, it's the 2-2, wasn't it? The Kovacic volley just for half time that sort of shut Liverpool up a little bit, and then we got the equaliser after making it hard for ourselves. Ice cold. A tough question, honestly. Last season was full of stress. Sadly, it may have been week 1 versus Arsenal. That's the thing, though, isn't it? That is the thing. But it's just, I think we've won the trophies that we have. The Champions League was just amazing, as we all know. It's just incredible night, incredible situation. We won the trophies that we've done as well, in addition to the Champions League. But it's always, we just had that feeling for the last 2 seasons. It's been what could have been. That's the overriding impression that I've got. And I think a lot of people have, because the amount of times that Chelsea had in the last 2 seasons, chances to take advantage over our rivals. They slipped up. We were playing after. Now go and get the points. Go and spread the gap between us and them and take advantage of their slip up. And we kept mucking it up time and time again. So, Samuel says one of his favourite games was Lille away. Low scoring but incredible support for Tuchel on the team. Ali Dan says the Newcastle away game. Reece James with 2 great goals, and they were great goals as well. Kiefer says versus Newcastle, the Kai Havertz Winner, or in German then. Samuel, Chelsea Villa at the beginning of the season was class. Lukaku was incredible. Kovacic to the next level. That pass to Lukaku was insane. It was a great pass, to be fair, between the defenders. Fabregas to Costa, Watford away, esque, I might add. But, yeah, so it's a favourite game from last season. So there you go. There's a couple of answers. Come and join in, people, if you haven't done so already. Come and say hello. What else have we got going on here then, question-wise? What other questions can we come up with? Is anybody else putting their games up? Let me know. I'm just trying to think what else we could ask. So, here we go then. Here's a question for you. Feel free to ask questions in the chat that you want to put out to everybody. If you can think of any, let me know. So here's another one then. So, hold on. Here we go. So, people, in the chat now, everyone that's watching, welcome along. Question for you. Get involved in the chat. The most underrated player for Chelsea last season, in your opinions? The most underrated, and why? There you go. Let me know what you think. Samuel, I'll take Bernardo Silva, but he's probably going to go elsewhere. And would I sell Kovacic? No, not a problem. No, not a chance. Not a chance in hell. I'd never sell Kovacic. He's just a brilliant player. Absolutely outstanding player. So there you go. So answer the question. The most underrated Chelsea performer last season. So someone that you think probably got some credit, but not enough. I know obviously it was a season that didn't go according to plan, Champions League wise, and the two finals against the Bin Dippers and the Premier League, but most underrated player last season. So someone that you thought was outstanding or had a good season and didn't really get the credit for it, or enough credit, let's just say that. Let me know in the chat. So Ibrahim says Chalaba. Jem says Alonso. Samuel says Loftus-Cheek. Good shout. Chalaba did well, didn't he? Made a mistake against Liverpool at home. But again, his first season in the Premier League. You have to understand that these people are going to come in and they are going to make mistakes. You know, the position that you play, you know, defender, you make a mistake, it costs you a goal scoring opportunity. If you're in goal and you make a mistake, it costs a goal. You know, up front, make a mistake, don't score. So, Alex says Alonso. Ibrahim says Mason Mount. Samuel says Saul. Samuel, what you been drinking, Samuel? Come on. Yeah, Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek's a good shout. Now, my opinion of Loftus-Cheek was that we saw him on loan at Fulham after his big injury. He went on loan to Fulham a couple of seasons ago. And when you watched him, he sort of went 75%. He'd run with the ball from midfield and you knew he wasn't at full pace. You knew he wasn't committed 100%. And he sort of held back. Now, he had a nasty Achilles injury, you know, down the back of his leg. And Achilles is, you snap that, major problem. It's a real serious injury. And to come back from it, you'd only naturally be concerned about going full pelt in case it goes again. But gradually he's got his confidence back. So under Tuchel and into the Chelsea squad this season, obviously training hard and working week in, week out, he got strength in his Achilles and his leg and he got more confident with it. But he was asked to play a different kind of role because Loftus-Cheek is box to box, as we know. And for me, and I, you know, this is just my own personal opinion, when Ruben Loftus-Cheek has got the ball at his feet and he's running at the opposition or going past people, he's like a Rolls Royce across that pitch, and he's just, there's no one like him like that. He just glides across that pitch. He's outstanding. And he was asked to play the deeper role and cover deeper, and you know, he's filled in at centre half as well at times. Luton in the cup away, he did that. But Loftus-Cheek he just impressed me with the fact that he had the discipline to sit deep, to play in that position, and I thought Loftus-Cheek, I'll probably actually say Loftus-Cheek is up there. And I think Thiago Silva's another one. Leslex said, choose between Chalobah and Loftus-Cheek, fair play. Samuel, Jorginho's quite underrated for what he does, not appreciated enough. Jorginho's great for moving off the ball, making himself as an option for someone to pass to from the back line. He's great with the ball at his feet. And he's a good talker. The problem is with Jorginho, again, the midfield position is evolving over time. You can't just afford to be somebody that can just sit in a deep line midfield position and not tackle. Granted, Jorginho, in my opinion, has improved his defensive side of the game. From when he first turned up at Chelsea to where he is now, he's improved 100%. But for me, it's still not good enough in that role. So I think that I think Jorginho might leave. I think that the role that it's much more dynamic now. Look at Loftus-Cheek and Kovacic, the way they play that midfield role, and Kante, they can turn defence into attack. They can burst from midfield through players, and they're away. Jorginho can't do that. So I just think that the dynamism of the role of the deep line midfielder, being good defensively off the ball and being good with the ball at your feet, both the requirement for both, I think that's where Jorginho falls down. That's just my own personal opinion. Great game, and Alonso's goal should have stood against Real Madrid. Exactly, yeah. I can't believe that because it hit his shorts first, then bounced up to his hand, that they gave it. This stupid rule, if it hits your hand for whatever reason. So, yeah. But yeah, Alonso his goal should have scored. Imagine if that stood. We would have won that. We would have won that game. Thoughts on Hakim Ziyech, keep or sell? If we keep the formation as it is, got to sell him. If we switch it to a 4-3-3 and play him naturally wide, you keep him. Emerson, I'll keep hold of him. I forgot about him, I have to say, Jim, 100%. I'll keep hold of him because he did well in the Euros, didn't he? When that Italian defender got injured and was out and he come in, did a great job right through to the final, as we all know, being English. But Emerson did well. So, but didn't he go for 2 years to Lyon? I'm not sure if it was 2 or if it was 1. Samuel, my opinion for Hakim Ziyech is, and I've said this before, I'm not sure if you've seen me say this before, so if you have, I apologise, and again, this is just only my opinion, people, but I'm trying to see it from watching the game and studying the game. So Hakim Ziyech is someone that likes to have a picture. As the ball comes to him, he has a picture of what's happening. So, or even before a ball's passed to him. So Ziyech will drift out wide right, for example, with that wand of his left foot. So he'll drift out wide right. And what he does, he turns side on. And what he does is that his body position is side on. So the pitch is here in front of him. He can see his defensive side of the team, and he can see the balls coming into him. But at the same time, from being this position, he can also see defenders that are moving towards him. He gets a picture in his brain before the ball comes to him, and he knows exactly what he's going to do. And that's his strength, that he can then read what's going to happen. He collects the ball, he rides the challenge, or he steps inside, and he needs to see that to get the best out of him. So for me, he needs to be wide, side on, collecting the ball with a perfect view and a picture of what's around him to be at his best, to be effective. Okay? Yes, I know if you give him a little bit of space, 5 yards of space, and he can pick out a pass like nobody else, Fabregas-esque for me. I think at times he takes a bit of warming up, but Ziyech is right on the money, and I think he's great. You give him a little bit of space, he'll kill you for it. But as a central attacking midfielder or number 10, you're asking him to play with his back to goal. You're asking him to not play side on, but you're asking him to play in that forward position. And think of how you've seen Ziyech this season. He'll be pushed up wide or come inside, and you see him with his back to goal, and he's facing our midfield, saying, "Give me the ball to my feet." But the problem is in the Premier League, you've got someone up his arse watching him, and as soon as the ball goes into Hakim Ziyech's feet, he gets hit, or he then has to then turn to then get the picture of what's around him, what pass he can play. Can he lay off a short ball? Has he got to take somebody on? Has he got someone running on his outside? But initially, his back's to goal as a number 10, unless he's on the run. But how often is Hakim Ziyech on the run in between the lines? He isn't. That's not his game. He doesn't play that way. So he wants to play with. He has to, at the moment, be forced to come towards the ball, back to goal. He gets the ball, and he's then got to turn. And by the time that he turns to get his picture, he's clattered by a defender. And that's why you won't get nothing from him playing in that number 10 role. But if you play him wide in a 4-3-3, he'll kill you because he's brilliant. That's my opinion on Ziyech anyway. Blues. So hold on, sorry, apologies. Samuel says, you don't get time and space in the Premier League. Exactly what I was just saying. Jem says, Ziyech was one of the main men at Ajax. Now he's one of the many, but I wouldn't discard him. Yeah, I wouldn't discard him either. I tried to play to his strengths by, you could solve the problem, not necessarily Lukaku, but the of the squad, right, square pegs into round holes by playing 4-3-3. That's what I keep saying. Play Pulisic wide left. Play Ziyech wide right with a striker through the middle, whether it's Havertz, whether it's Werner, and then play your Mount and play your Kovacic next to Kante. Mount and Kovacic number 8s, box to box. Perfect for me. That's what I would do. Or Loftus-Cheek, as we said earlier. So, Blues says, I played in the wing when I was younger. You always want to play as wide as possible because if you get stuck for a pass, you can always dribble on the outside. Exactly. So, this is what I'm talking about. So, when you talk about that and, you get a pass played to you, if you're playing wide, you're not going to sit there like with your back to goal. You're going to be side on. Collect the ball and see what's coming towards you. I played decent standard, not semi-pro, I played amateur. And, so I studied the game. And I watched these sort of things happen and play out, And that's what I see with like Lukaku, why he struggles. With Hakim Ziyech, why he struggled. And they've struggled. Both of them have struggled. Ziyech struggled for 2 seasons. He's had good games, but they're few and far between. So, and the games he has played well, he's been given some time to have that wand of a left foot to score, incredible goals, or to pick a pass from nowhere. But we need to see more of him doing it, and to do that, stick him wide, and then come inside off the byline. But have that opportunity to have the picture there and play to his strengths, so he can see what's coming, he can dictate to the defender what he wants to do, rather than the defender clattering him with his back to goal and saying, right now, beat me, because Ziyech can't do that. So that's my opinion anyway. Whether you want to take it, it's up to you. But that's my opinion. Because Samuel says he would prefer much rather prefer 4-3-3. That's what I'm saying. Exactly, 4-3-3. 100% for me. 100%. So Sky Sports' transfer centre is last update 7 hours ago. How's that work? Oh, dearie me. Anyway, so, Lamek, how are you? It's clear Lukaku's heart isn't at Chelsea and we'll let him go and bring in someone else, but who? Who do we need to sign? Exactly. So there's rumours of Sterling, there's rumours of Gabriel Jesus. I would take Jesus out of the 2 because I think he works harder. Chelsea, how you doing, mate? Perspective, good to see you. Sterling's a confidence player, but he scores goals. He could be a pain in the arse if you get the best out of him. But we'll see. I'll take Mitrovic from Fulham because I think the bloke plays similar style to Drogba and Costa, which is what it seems as though Thomas Tuchel wants from his strikers. Lukaku can't do that. That's why he can be sold. Tammy couldn't do that. That's why Tammy was sold. So we'll see what happens. But there's no... We were talking about it earlier. There's no old school centre forwards anymore. Apart from Harry Kane, and we're never going to get him because of Levy. 1 second, just got to get another top up. Grab yourself a refreshment, people, in the pub. For those that are interested, there you go. Stella Unfiltered. Only a little one. It's got the green can. And, it's 5%. The normal Stella cans are 4.6 these days. So I thought, let's give that a go. And we'll see. We shall see. So we've been on for an hour and a half so far. Got 53 people watching. I've got 82 likes. So can I get to 100 likes? That'd be amazing. If I could. If I could, that'd be amazing. So thank you. Mitrovic is an option. Good shout. And Broha. Yeah, exactly. So Broha needs a run this season in the first team. He's going to be given a great opportunity to impress in pre-season. Let's hope he does it. And we shall see. Yeah, Kane is hybrid. Yeah, I guess you could say that. But he also does he holds the ball up. He can be a link man. He can be a target man. He can lead the line. And Clinton, how are you, mate? Good to see you. Arrive late. It's all good. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. We're going to keep going for a little bit and just see what happens. Probably keep going until another half an hour and we'll see. See what happens anyway. Here we go then. Question for you all. So Dan, THFC. Don't want to bar you. I don't know. Why are you involved in my bloody stream? Just because you're going out signing a lot of players. London is white. I don't think it is. The thing is, Dan, you sign the players you've signed so far, and fair play to you, by the way, for backing the manager. Great manager. But you're going to get all Spursy. Aren't you? Chelsea perspective, thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. I really do appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Dan, thank you, mate. I haven't barred you for a reason. So, yeah, you're supporting the football streamers. Thanks very much, mate. Appreciate it. So, there's a question, Chelsea fans. The top 3 performers at Chelsea last season in order. So, your player of the season and the next 2. Let me know in the chat. Thiago Silva, Rudiger and Mount for Blues. Fair play. Okafor asked me why Chelsea never signed players. I think if you look back over time, I think you find we have done 1 or 2. Dan says we are changing. You are changing, I know. And it's right that you back the manager. What a great manager he is. Love Kante. Clinton says top 3. Mason Mount, player of the season. Mendy and Reece James. Fair play. Frankie Lampard, Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Mason Mount. Okay. Anybody else get involved in the chat? But yeah, Chelsea perspective, thank you. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much, mate. Good to see you in as well. Kevin says Silva, Mount and Rudiger. Pretty common theme here at the moment. Mendy, Mount and Silva, says Jem. Yeah, you'll hear a lot. We'll see what happens. Messages, just trust Chelsea. Okafor, trust them, mate. Don't believe everything that you read. Ibrahim says Mason Mount, Reece James and Tony Rudiger. Okay. So Silva and Mount are up there. We will be okay. We'll be fine. Chelsea will be fine. Chelsea won't let players go unless they've got replacements lined up. Just takes a bit of time to get these deals done. And remember, Chelsea had they couldn't sign anybody. They couldn't have the bloody club shop open until we changed the owners of the football club. So now the ownership's changed. It takes time and a little bit of transition. The funds to be transferred across. And let's see what happens. But just trust Chelsea. They'll do what they need to do. They won't leave themselves exposed. Let's just say that. Dan from Tottenham says Thiago Silva, Mount and James. Matthew, how are you, mate? Opinions so far. Overall summer news. I just said it there. It's just people are panicking. People expecting that as soon as Chelsea, the new ownership took over, they're going to go and spend 200 million on players. It takes time. So let's see what's happening. Let's see what's going to happen. AC, how you doing? Oh, sorry, A20CO7. Just got news that we're tracking Messi at PSG. Deary me. Deary me. We shall see. Clinton, who's my worst 3? I'll ask that in the next question. Sammy, if we don't play 4-3-3, is Dembele a good signing? No. Okafor, which players are they going to sign? We need to know. Almost other top clubs are signing big. We shall see. We shall see what happens, Okafor. But Chelsea will make some big signings. 100%. So don't worry. Don't panic. Jem, good chat, mate. Cheap them down the pub. Exactly. Get yourself a couple of bevies. Get on the live stream. Get involved in the chat. All good. All good. Dan says he'll think to take over. Tottenham will take over Chelsea. Will take over us. But you're going to go all Spursy, aren't you? You know what I mean. But like I say, you've got a good signing so far, I have to say. Bissouma's outstanding. I like Bissouma. In one of my my match commentaries that I do on the channel here, live commentaries on the game, I was calling for Bissouma at the time, saying he's been outstanding. He was bossing the game against us, and we need to go and get him. It didn't happen, did it? Conte's want to get rid of being Spursy, yeah. Declan Rice. Rice has got to be the one. And I think that we'll have him. And I said this earlier. For anybody that missed the stream early doors, I said that if this was the old regime, the old ownership at Chelsea and the board members, then I don't think Declan Rice would have been someone that we look at. Because, let's face it, they went out and bought somebody back that they sold previously in Lukaku for 100 million and got burnt. And I think that they're wary of doing it again. But now you've got new management, new ownership of the football club. I think the Declan Rice deal is on. And I think Chelsea will get it. Chelsea get Declan Rice done. The only thing is we might have to get somebody else into that part of the deal. We might lose a player as well as money. So we shall see. We shall see. Kevin says, who's the most improved player last season? I think it's up there with, for me, I think it's Chalobah. And I think you're looking at arguably Loftus-Cheek for me, in the position that he started in, because he didn't play that position before. So being lit with Dembele, maybe 4-3-3. I keep saying Chelsea is set for 4-3-3. The whole squad, you look at them and think they're 4-3-3, but we just don't do it. Don't know why. Blues just keep down happy. Why don't we steal Son off them? Son, yeah. Lemek says we're interested if we go in for Lewandowski, but he wants to go to Barca, doesn't he? But I'll take him. He scores goals. Got a feeling that Milinkovic-Savic will sign in a week's time. We shall see. We shall see. AC20 C07. Okafor, I'm just confused. Nothing's happening. I mean, patience. Okafor, the transfer window shuts on the 1st of September. We've got a month. We've got 2.5 months of the transfer window being open. 2.5 months is 10 weeks. Don't worry about it. Calm down. Don't panic. Trust the football club. Trust Chelsea. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Will Billy Gilmore play a part next year, Jem? I was said about that earlier. I think Tuchel looked at Billy Gilmore, and I think my opinion is I don't think that he believes that he's big enough or physical enough for that defensive midfield role. I think his height goes against him, which is unfortunate. But I don't think he's physical enough, and I think that he's going to struggle at Chelsea with Tuchel there. Need a DM for 4-3-3. Declan Rice, Blues. Ibrahim, wish Tottenham to consider we win the 2 matches. I like your background. It looks amazing. Yeah, well, that's, I'm invested in it. Not too bad, is it? So, Dan, I've got, obviously, I've got Mourinho. You can't see the picture there. I've got the shirt there. I've got the Chelsea FC dream scene with all the heroes on one image there. I've got the 2 Champions League winning pictures. Champions League winning pictures, Dan. Have you got any of them? Only joking. You've got the Chelsea shirts there, as you've seen as well. Bit of bants for the Tottenham. Oh dear. But you'll do well in it though this season, I have to say. Don't tell me my thing's frozen. No, it's all right. I'm all good. I'm back then. He's got one from the Audi Cup. Oh dear. Like a bit of banter in football. You have to have a laugh, don't you? Otherwise you go mad. It's a bit like us blokes when we go down the pub, isn't it? Your missus says to you, what do you talk about in the pub with your mates? And you say, absolute rubbish. If I'm honest, complete nonsense. Because as a man, we have to. As a bloke, otherwise we go mental. We just freak out. We have to talk a bit of old nonsense. And that's what we do. Okafor is still worried. 2.5 months when they have bought all the important players there. Which players on the sales shelf? Jorginho will go. Alonso will go. Rudiger's already gone. Christensen's already gone. Lukaku will go. That's 5. I can't see many more going, unless like Ross Barkley or those that are on the periphery. Those players coming back from loan that haven't got an opportunity under Tuchel. So, for me, I think that's who will go. So we shall see. But there's plenty of time for things to change, things to happen. And as I keep saying, Chelsea, Petr Cech's there, Granovska's there at the minute. So what I'd say is Chelsea they never let someone go unless they've got a replacement lined up. Whether that's someone they're going to buy or they bring somebody in from the academy. Of course, I was saying that based on recent seasons. SA, how are you, mate? How are you? Blues. See, I think Azpilicueta will stay. And I think that he'll stay because if Alonso goes, they're not going to lose 4 of our back line. They're not going to lose Alonso, Rudiger, Christensen and Azpilicueta. I think Chelsea will, because the 1-year contract extension was triggered for Azpi last season because he played more than 30 games. So automatically it gets triggered for this season. There's reports that he wants to go back to La Liga and he's trying to negotiate with Chelsea to do that. But I think Chelsea will say to them, to Azpi, give us another year and then you go with our blessing. And I think he'll probably have to just accept that. Which for him, his personal situation probably isn't ideal, but Chelsea won't lose 4 players from the defensive line. So I just can't see that happening. But we'll see what happens. We shall see. But you could see Emerson back. I think he's on a 2-year loan. You could see him come back and be the backup to Chilwell. Obviously, Chelsea brought back Kennedy from Brazil, gave him a look and didn't see him much. So I don't think he's got a future at the club. I think Matsson's got a future, hopefully. So we'll see what happens. But don't panic, people. I know everyone's going, where's all these signings? Just don't worry about it. Chelsea are working hard in the background, I can guarantee that. And as I keep saying, they won't let someone go unless they've got someone lined up to come in. I think Koundé will be done unless Barcelona offer stupid money. And I think you're going to look at, I think Dembele will come because of his links with Tuchel. I think you're probably going to look at the likes of Sterling if it's rumoured that he's the main target. But I'll go after Jesus anyway. So let's see. Let's just see what happens. Why aren't we going for Rafinha and why are we going for Dembele? He's getting injured in the league, for God's sake. Imagine a cold night in Stoke. Amy, we're not playing in Stoke in the Premier League. Just so you're aware. But Rafinha, good player for Leeds. Think of the players that Chelsea have been linked with before the season finished and since it finished. At one point, we were linked with Riyad Mahrez. That's all gone quiet. But don't forget, people, transfer windows. So this is where the players' agents, the players' representatives come to life. Now, what they do is they want to look after their client, which is code for, I want to fill my pockets with money. So what these agents do is they put the feelers out to clubs saying, if my client could potentially move from their current team, would you be interested? And then report comes out, such and such is interested in whatever. It gets leaked. So what happens then is the club that currently own that player want to keep hold of him and then negotiate a new contract for more money. And when they negotiate a new contract for more money, the agent gets a cut of it and lines their pockets. If they become unsettled because the club, they don't want to give them any more money, but this club is now looking at being interested in their player, then the player will force a move. And if he forces a move, then when you go and get a deal done, the agent gets part of that cut, part of the money. So a lot of the stories that are out there is put out there by agents, is put out just for pure speculation, but these agents love the summer. They love the winter, they love the summer, because it's an opportunity to line their pockets. Simple as that. So a lot of the stories that come out at the moment, don't believe them. Absolute nonsense. So Some of them you think, I hope that's true. So look at the sort of reputable source, such as Fabrizio Romano, and look at his tweets and his updates that come through. He'll say that there's never been interest in this player. So don't read everything. I mean, don't forget, people have got to sell papers. People have got to look at, get clicks on their website by writing suggestive headlines. So don't worry about it. Don't believe everything you read. Would Aspi still be the skipper? He would be, Jem, 100%. Okafor, clubs are buying important players except Chelsea, even Kunde. We're not sure it's important players are no longer on sales. Okafor, you got to calm down, mate. You'll give yourself hernia. Don't worry about it. Silva will be a good shout for skipping if Jorginho goes. Obviously, Aspi will play less. I'll say this is what makes the likes of Liverpool, Man City different from others. Early signings and key signatures. Okay, fair point. So what happens when Chelsea do make signings if they're big players that you think that you're excited about? Is it just the timing of the signatures that makes a difference? If they get the players they want, Chelsea, then the time frame doesn't mean anything really, as long as they get the players they want. But remember, the players that the new ownership want, and they've said quite rightly so, and thank God for it, is that the manager is in control of transfers. So, unfortunately, the downside and negative of Roman Abramovich's time as manager, as owner of the football club, was that the manager never had full control of transfers. So, a lot of players that were signed by the club. They were club signings. Look at Frank Lampard's second season. The summer when he had the academy players in, that summer he wanted a whole host of players. And Chelsea signed a number of players, and the only one that he actually recommended was Ben Chilwell. But the club went out and bought Hakim Ziyech because he impressed them when we played them against Ajax in the Champions League. They went out and bought other players because they were impressed by them. Club signings. So this summer, Thomas Tuchel has now been told by Todd Boehly and the regime there, you've got control over transfers. Who do you want? We'll go out and get them. Who do you want to sign? We'll go out and get them. And that's what's different this time around. So let Tuchel, who's never had that opportunity at Chelsea to go and get his targets, let him work hard with a board, the new ownership, and just have faith. Oh my word. Honestly, you've got to chill out and just don't worry about it. Don't get stressed out about Chelsea's lack of signings at the moment. Deary me. Tesfu, he's worried as well. Yeah, Blues. That was Czech's recommendation for the club. It wasn't a Lampard signing, Mendy. Petr Cech recommended it to Roman Abramovich and the board, and they went and signed him. So then Lampard was like, right, okay. Because obviously there was the issue with Kepa anyway. He didn't have his confidence in Kepa anyway. Ami, what do you think about Savic from Lazio's DM? I think he's a great player. I think Milinkovic-Savic is a great player. Jorginho can go. Honestly, still unsure about Loftus-Cheek. I'm not. I think Loftus-Cheek in that defensive line midfield player in position, I think he's outstanding. And I think he's made a slot in the first team squad under Thomas Tuchel one of his. His, I should say. His slot. One of his. He's made one of those slots his own. Let's just say that. So, let's just see. Milinkovic-Savic is a great player. Rated highly on Football Manager as well. But Milinkovic-Savic, what a player he is. Good player. So here we go. So there's a player. So I'm just reading here on Fabrizio Romano. So Luka Jovic at Real Madrid is in negotiations with Fiorentina to go on loan. Is that not someone that Chelsea should look at? Luka Jovic. Good player. Physical player as well. Is he not someone we should be looking at? you're also looking at Adrian Rabiot. Just on here, Rabiot, the ex-PSG player that's at Juve, he's actually been transfer listed by Juventus. I'll go and get him and all. I'll go and get hold of him. Keffer says, we should be careful our signings. I don't want a drink water situation. Danny D, bless him. Yes, Sangaro PSV is someone we've been linked with. Thing is, there's always players around. There's always quality players out there that you can replace others with. Just got to find the right ones. That's what it comes down to. Finding the right players to come in and do that job. Alonso, how are you, mate? Does next season's expectations solely depend on the sum of signings, or what is expectation regarding the signings? To improve on last season in the Premier League, first and foremost. To maintain a challenge for each trophy, but mainly to improve in the Premier League, to close the gap and to challenge next season. I think that's the expectation. And I think depending on how much money is spent and what signings Chelsea make, that could even be sort of strengthened further, the expectation. It could be, right, we want to see you challenge for a title. So let's see. Yeah, bring Declan Rice home, 100%. I'll take Declan Rice. I'll take Kundi. I'll take Dembele. And I'll take one other. Possibly, I'll take Jesus over Sterling. That's what I would take. I think Jesus for me, possibly. I think Richarlison is a good player. But, I mean, he does dish it out and he takes it. Fair play to Richarlison, but I would still take Jesus. I think Koulibaly would cost you a fortune. I'd take De Ligt all day long. I think De Ligt's a great player, but again, you're going to have to pay a lot of money from Juve to get hold of him. So if Tuchel finished second and nothing else, would he get another season? Yeah, he would, probably. I'd say he probably would. As long as he challenged, got like to quarterfinals, semi-finals of the Champions League, cup competitions. I think if he challenged and finished second, a couple of points off, then I think he's done enough to get another season, to keep building, 100%. Yeah, exactly. You have to bring in players that fit the way we play. Exactly, 100%. That's what I've been saying. All evening. What else is happening? But yeah, Luka Jovic, good player, good finisher. Oh, here we go. So an hour ago. Here we go. An hour ago from Fabrizio Romano. Inter and Chelsea have scheduled a new direct contact in the coming hours for Romelu Lukaku. Inter are feeling confident, now waiting for Chelsea's final price tag. Todd Boehly is open to discuss with Inter on a potential loan deal. So Boehly will be open because he's been told by Thomas Tuchel, yeah, he can go. So that deal will happen. Lukaku will go back to Inter. They just got to finalise how much per season on loan they want. Chelsea want 10 million. They've offered 5 plus 2 million add-ons, which Chelsea rejected. So we shall see. We shall see. What else is happening? Nothing else at the moment. At the moment. So, a lot of people are frustrated with Chelsea because there's nothing happening at the moment. But like I keep saying, have a bit of faith. Don't worry about panicking. Chelsea got their targets, which Thomas Tuchel and Todd Boehly will be working on. And they're working on them right now. Yeah, I think so. Alonso, I think as fans, what we fear is the most is not selling players that don't want to be here and therefore not sign new players with something to prove. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I do see what you're saying 100%. 100%. But we'll see. I think Chelsea will have a good window. Remember, there's 10 weeks of it left. It goes through to the 1st of September. Plenty of time. And let's hope there's a switch to 4-3-3, which gives us a much better balance, in my opinion. So, people, I'm going to leave it there. And I just want to say thank you so much for all of you for joining. Been going for nearly 2 hours. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for all your questions, for getting involved in the chat, for subscribing, for liking the video as well. Not been about for a while because obviously I was ill, laryngitis and a viral infection in a couple of weeks. I mean, for about 4 days I could hardly speak. So I appreciate every single one of you being here. So thank you so much, everyone. I will see you soon. I'll be doing a video. Video will be coming out at some point, and there'll be another live stream. So look out for a note from me with a live stream. So anyway, so take care of yourselves. Have a good weekend. And like I say, don't worry too much about the lack of movement at the moment. There will be movement. It'll be big. Let's see what happens. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, everyone.